Hey guys, so I've been asked by a lot of people, requested by a lot of people to create a video discussing Legends Fest this year because we are just now about a month and a half away from Legends Fest actually starting, which is kind of crazy to think about. It doesn't really seem like the 5th anniversary was that long ago, and we're already just a month and a half away from Legends Fest beginning. So we're going to go over 3 different topics in this video regarding Legends Festival. The first one is going to be when will the Legends Festival celebration begin? That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be what will the format be? And then number 3 is going to be what most people are probably looking forward to the most, which is what characters will release as part of Legends Festival 2023. So just to go over the first bullet point here, when will Legends Fest start? So we have this announcement here. A new episode campaign is coming. The next episode campaign will be revealed on October 10th. What will it be? Leave your best guess in the comments. This is not going to be a video regarding this episode campaign. I mean, it's very clearly going to be something related to movies, so we'll see. By the time this video goes up, this might already be revealed. I'm not sure when this video is going to go live. I'm recording this on the 9th of October. This might go up on the 10th or 11th. We'll see. So let's start with when will Legends Festival begin? If we're getting this campaign starting this week, this will probably be the final campaign. No, not even probably. This will definitely be the final campaign until Legends Festival begins. And if we take a look at when all these major celebrations start, so I have the past 3 major celebrations pulled up. I have the 4th anniversary, I have Legends Festival 2022, and I have the 5th anniversary pulled up. So if we take a look at the 4th anniversary, the start date of the anniversary always corresponds with the release date of the first banner of the first part for each of these celebrations. So the 4th anniversary started on May 28th. This is the one big difference between Anniversary and Legends Festival compared to all other celebrations that we get, is the fact that they actually begin these celebrations on different days that don't necessarily correspond with Weekly Reset. So Weekly Reset is Tuesday/Wednesday, depending on where you live in the world. For me, it's Wednesday. But for most people living in the US, it's most likely Tuesday night/Wednesday, very early morning, like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. This May 28th date is a Saturday. This actually came out on a Saturday afternoon for me. That's when they like to time, I guess, the anniversary releases. So then we go over to Legends Festival last year. Now this dropped on the 25th of November, which is a Friday. And the reason why they did this on a Friday is because they usually like to correspond the first Legends Festival part with Black Friday of whatever year that is, right? So they released this banner on November 25th, which is a Friday, which is Black Friday. That's what they try and aim Legends Festival Part 1 to come out with. And then we could take a look at the 5th anniversary Part 1 banner. May 27th was a Saturday this year, so they released the Part 1 banner on a Saturday. So I think it's pretty clear to me, at least, when we should expect the Part 1 banners to drop for Legends Festival this year, right? The banner last year dropped on November 25th, which is Black Friday. Black Friday this year lands on November 24th. So I think November 24th, 12 p.m. JST is when we should expect to get the Part 1 banner or banners for Legends Festival this year. So that's, my best guess as to when we should expect this. There is a trend in terms of them following this, so I think it's pretty safe to expect them to continue following this trend this year as well. So that should take care of when will Legends Festival begin. Next is what will the format be? And there's another reason why I pulled all these banners up. It's to go over what we've historically seen during the past 3 major celebrations. So I think comparing Legends Fest to Anniversary is like the fairest comparison we can make, because those are the 2 biggest celebrations of the year, Anniversary and Legends Festival. Starting from the 4th anniversary here, we have Part 1, which is an LF banner. We have Part 2, which is an LF banner. And then Part 3, we had, of course, Ultra Super Vegito drop for the 4th anniversary. Legends Festival last year, Part 1, we have the LF tag Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. Part 2, we have LF tag Trunks and Vegeta. And then Part 3, we have the Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta banner. 5th anniversary Part 1, we have LF tag Goku and Frieza. Part 2, we have Orange Piccolo and the tag Gammas. And then Part 3, we have the Ultra Vegito Blue banner. So looking at the past 3 major celebrations that typically all follow the same format, I think it's pretty safe to expect this year's Legends Festival to follow this format as well. Now, of course, there's always a possibility that they change the format here, but I mean, I can only base expectations off of what we've seen historically in the past 3 celebrations like this. So my best bet will be that this year's Legends Festival will also follow this format. Now, the one question is, we take a look at these past 3 celebrations. The one difference between the 5th anniversary and the 4th anniversary and Legends Festival 2022 in terms of the actual format is the 5th anniversary dropped 2 banners during part 2, which we don't see for the 4th anniversary or Legends Fest 2022, right? Part 2 for the 4th anniversary is Dragon Fist Goku, and that's it. And the second part of Legends Fest 2022 is Vegeta and Trunks, and that was it, right? Just the one banner. But the 5th anniversary, right, they dropped 2 LF. They dropped Orange Piccolo, and they dropped the Gammas. So the question then becomes, should we expect to get 2 LFs for Legends Festival Part 2 this year? I don't know. I would expect, I don't know if I should say I expect, but I hope that they would at least try and match the same quality and quantity of what they gave us for the anniversary this year. But I'm not going to be able to say one way or the other if that's what they're going to be doing. But if I had to guess, I would say there's a good chance that they could swap this too, right? So instead of giving us 2 LFs for part 2, they could give us instead 2 LFs for part 1, 1 LF for part 2, and then an Ultra for part 3. I think they're pretty set in stone in terms of the Ultra placements for these celebrations. Every single summonable Ultra that we've gotten for the anniversary and for Legends Festival have always been the final character. And I think they're pretty comfortable with that format, so I would expect them to continue doing that same thing for this Legends Festival as well. I do expect part 3 to be the final part, and of course with that comes, I would assume, to be the summonable Ultra with this celebration. So the question though is, if they give us a part that has 2 LFs, is it going to be part 2 like it was for the 5th anniversary, or is it going to be part 1? If there's going to be a part with 2 LFs at all, because we don't even know if that's going to happen or not. But I think, you know, the celebration at least having 3 parts, each with at least 1 banner associated with it, is a pretty safe bet there. So that covers the second bullet point. So you know, when will the celebration release, and then what will the format be? I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy or out of the blue if we do see a bit of a change. But let's move on to the third point, which is going to be the main focus of this video, and that is what characters will release as part of Legends Fest here. So I guess I should probably just pull up the character list. Now, I will preface this portion of the video by saying, up until this point, we take a look at all the anniversary celebrations, we take a look at all the Legends Festival celebrations, and for the most part, we have had a pretty clear indication of what characters we're going to be dropping, headliners we're going to be dropping for each of those major celebrations. You know, there was either build up for those characters, there were hints for those characters. Most of the time it corresponded with certain scenes or attacks or forms of characters that we did not have representation for in the game up until the release of those characters. But there was always sort of some kind of indication that we kind of knew what was going to happen. You know, maybe not specifically, you know, exactly what type of character it would be, but we pretty much knew, okay, yeah, we're expecting, you know, some kind of Super Saiyan 4 unit dropping here, or we're expecting some kind of Vegito unit dropping here, or some kind of Gogeta unit dropping here, or, you know, this form of Goku isn't represented, or this form, this attack that Goku does isn't represented yet with the Dragon Fist, for example, right? So we had a lot of indications leading up until these celebrations that sort of told us what to expect, and it wasn't too difficult to sort of pinpoint, you know, this character or this form would release during the major celebrations. This is really the first major celebration, again, anniversary or Legends Festival celebration, where I can confidently say I have no idea. I have not even a clue of what's going to come out here, because at this point in the game's lifespan, we essentially have all the major moments from the series represented in the game. Again, there are a few exceptions. You know, we don't have like very specific moments. Everybody always points out the whenever I say this, everybody always points out the GT Spirit Bomb. And I'll get to the GT Spirit Bomb, but for the most part, we pretty much have all the major moments represented in the game from the original series, right? So with that out of the question, and with that sort of being covered now, it becomes a bit more tough to accurately predict what kinds of characters and forms and scenes and attacks we're going to get for the celebration here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go through and break down the celebration into part 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think is at least possible that we see for Legends Festival here. There's going to be a lot of different options that I throw out. But I think, there are a lot of different characters we could potentially still get, right? Just because most of the major moments are represented doesn't mean that they can't go back and redo characters that we already have in the game. Like, for example, we just got LF Super Saiyan Namek Goku, who already has an LF in the game. They just redid the animation. They gave him, different strike animations, different blue card, different green card animations, stuff like that, different voice lines. So, I mean, there's ways they can go back and redo a lot of these older LF characters. So we'll have to wait and see if that's what they decide to do for Legends Festival here. But let's start with part 1 here. And again, this is all going to go back to what I mentioned in the second bullet point of the video, which was what will the format be? I think it's safe to say we're going to get LFs in part 1 and part 2, right? Now, Ultra in part 3, I don't think they're gonna they're gonna deviate from that format. But the question becomes: are they gonna release 2 LFs in part 1, or 2 LFs in part 2, or are they gonna release 2 LFs at all? If it was up to me, and if I had to decide what I think would be best for the game, I think doing 2 LFs in part 1, doing 1 LF in part 2, and then doing an Ultra in part 3 would be the best way to maintain a standard, or what's the best way to describe this? It would be the best way to maintain a steady level of hype throughout the celebration, right? I think doing like a big giant double LF banner, maybe you have 2 sparkings on each of the banners as well. Like opening up with a gigantic release, 2 LFs, 2 banners, bunch of sparkings, free characters, Zenkais. Like, the celebration's off to a explosive start, right? That would be the best way to do that, in my opinion. Part 2, people are still enjoying the part 1 characters, the different meta, the events that are out, maybe new equipment for characters, stuff like that. And they could drop an LF character for part 2. Maybe they could give us a sparking or 2 on the banner as well. And then they finish up with the big Ultra release at the end. To me, at least, that seems like it would be the best format for me. But I'm going to throw out some options here of what potential characters we could see for this. So the first one is going to be a tag Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. That is actually a character that we don't have in the game, right? That's the version of Goku and Vegeta that we're fighting Jiren in the Tournament of Power. So it would kind of be a different version of this character, this Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku. Again, we have an Evolution Blue Vegeta in the game. We have a Blue Kaioken Goku in the game from the Tournament of Power. We don't have a tag version of those characters, right? So, I mean, that could be one that I've seen a lot of people asking for recently. Definitely don't have anything against that. Now, here is where this might be, I don't know if I want to call this a controversial opinion, but now that we have every single, well, I don't want to say every single, but 98% of major moments from the series represented in the game, what is stopping them from giving us, like, I don't want to say like original characters, but original versions of characters in the game? We've seen this with Dokkan, and this is something that I've actually kind of wondered why Dokkan hasn't done this earlier, which is giving us characters that are not original characters. Like, they just gave us a Vegito Blue. The Vegito Blue, of course, is not an original character, but they gave him original animations from, stuff that he didn't do in the series. They gave him original animations. His attacks were stuff that Dokkan created for themselves, but the character was still Vegito Blue. I think Legends could take that a step further, and they could give us different types of tag characters that include combinations that we have not seen represented in the original series or manga, right? So what I'm thinking could be a cool idea is, what if for part 1 of Legends Festival, they gave us a tag Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta as 1 LF, and then they gave us a tag Final Form Frieza and a Final Form Cooler as the other LF. And they could sort of model the part 1 of Legends Festival off of, the Saiyans versus the Lineage of Evil characters. And that could be what part 1 is based around. We would get all new original Legends animations for a tag Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta versus a tag, Frieza and Cooler character. Obviously, Frieza and Cooler never interacted at any point in Dragon Ball. Like, Cooler's movies Frieza didn't interact, but he was dead, right? He didn't interact with Cooler at all. But we know they're brothers. We know that they have history with each other. So it'd be kind of cool to see Legends take on putting those characters together. And of course, Goku and Vegeta, they'd have to have new animations too. I mean, they could take animations like from the Metal Cooler movie. We know that Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta obviously fight Metal Cooler in that movie. Goku and Vegeta have many interactions throughout the Dragon Ball series, but I would be more interested in, instead of them taking, attacks and animations that exist from scenes that they've been in together, that they just sit down and create all new animations for both characters. That would be interesting to me, and I don't know why they haven't done like this before. I don't know if there's some kind of licensing issues that have to be worked through or whatever, but that could be a cool way to sort of introduce like a real Game Originals team. Like if we go to the Game Originals saga here, which is an actual thing here, let me see if I could find it. Game Originals, right? The only Game Originals we have here: Shallot, Saiyan in Red, Zaha, Bulma. This is the Bulma, of course, from the story mode in the game. And then, of course, we have the individual Cybermen characters. Who these Cybermen characters are not Legends original characters. These guys appeared in other games before, but they are technically Game Original characters because these Cybermen did not appear in the series. They appeared in a game first. That's why they're Game Originals. So if Legends wants to like really make this tag a thing, or I guess this saga a thing, the Game Original saga, like they could start doing this by giving us interesting combinations of different tag characters. Maybe not even tag characters. Like what if they just did assist characters if they didn't want to put in the work for tag characters, I guess. But I don't think that really is much of an issue anymore because we have a full Ginyu Force team that they created. Two 1% Sparkings that are tag characters. Honestly, I don't really expect to see an assist character again, but interesting combinations of tag characters I think could be a really cool thing moving forward. Like Game Originals, and that's a way they could tie in the story mode as well with a lot of these Game Originals. Like what if the story mode gave us a team up of DBZ Broly and DBS Broly, right? And then they could create a DBZ Broly and DBS Broly tag character for us to summon for, with all new animations, Legends Original. Like that would be a cool way for them to prolong the lifespan of this game and give us like true sort of like what fans want to see that is not part of the original series. I still think it's, of course, very important for them to continue giving us characters that are reminiscent of what happened in the original series, all the movies, the manga. We need newer versions of like LF, Father Son Kamehameha Gohan. We need different versions of, like Metal Cooler doesn't have an LF yet. We need new versions of like Z Broly, Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Fat Boo fight. Like there's a lot of different characters, of course, we can still get from, moments that aren't up to date in the game. But I think weaving in some of like these Legends original, Game Original, like team up characters could be a really cool idea moving forward. And that I think is a cool way that they could introduce this concept as part 1 of Legends Fest. They just, boom, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta versus Frieza and Cooler that obviously never fought each other. But that could be a cool way to do that. So honestly, that's what I'm going to say for part 1. I mean, it's not a very likely outcome, I'll say that. But if I was in charge of doing this, that's kind of the direction I'd want to spin this into. All right, so, part 2, again, part 1 and part 2 can sort of be interchangeable. I just think both parts are going to have LFs, and then you could sort of say whether or not you think part 1's going to have 2 or part 2's going to have 2, or maybe neither part has 2 LFs. But I think part 2 is a good spot where we could potentially see a GT Spirit Bomb Goku come out. I am not a huge fan of the GT Spirit Bomb moment. I think it's fine, but in terms of its ability to headline a Legends Festival celebration or to headline an anniversary, to me, the GT Spirit Bomb more so sits as like a part 2 to Anniversary or a part 2 to Legends Festival. That to me is where it sort of fits the most. So I could definitely see a GT Spirit Bomb Goku being a Part 2 release for Legends Fest. And if they want to release 2 LFs as Part 2, maybe they do 1 LF as Part 1, they do 2 LFs as Part 2, potentially we could get an LF Omega Shenron to drop alongside that GT Spirit Bomb Goku as well, right? Again, I think... I don't want to, say that the GT Spirit Bomb is not a hype moment, because it's definitely one of the more major moments that, I mean, it literally, it ends GT. It ends the series, and it defeats the final boss of GT. But I think having a second banner to go alongside the GT Spirit Bomb character, maybe Omega Shenron, again, I think that would be cool, definitely could help the performance of that Part 2. Some other options that I think could work well. It has been seemingly 16 eons since a standalone summonable Vegeta has dropped. And I think just like any good moment that Vegeta participated in as like a standalone Vegeta character could be a pretty good release for Part 2 of Legends Fest here. Some moments that come to mind, I mean, we have Vegeta's first transformation into Super Saiyan could be a good one. We have Super Vegeta's final flash. I mean, that's obviously at some point going to be an LF that we don't have in the game yet. Maybe a God Vegeta from the Broly movie. He definitely has enough animations to pull from that movie to make it an LF character there. If it was up to me and I had to choose one moment, I probably would find a way to weave in the Final Flash, I think, into a Vegeta LF character. To me, that stands out as one of his best moments. Final Flash Super Vegeta. That could be a cool release for Part 2. One other release that I think could be really cool, and it is a Goku, so we've definitely gotten our fair share of Gokus this year, so I don't know how in terms of timing, how good this release would be. But this is certainly a version of Goku that I really, really do want. And I'm actually kind of surprised we have not gotten an LF of this character yet. Let me see. He's already in the game, but he's going to be way down here. Let me see if I can find him. It is going to be from my favorite fight in Super, which is this guy. Blue Kaioken Goku from the Universe 6 tournament. This version of Blue Kaioken Goku. Let me see if I can pull up the actual art here. This guy. Blue Kaioken Goku from the Universe 6 fight versus Hit. Now, of course, we already have an Ultra version of Hit from this fight, which is Ultra Red Hit. But this guy, I mean, this is the only version of Blue Kaioken Goku from his fight against Hit that we have in the game. I mean, this is like, this guy came out like right after the first anniversary. So we're talking like 4+ years old for this character. And they've never revisited this scene. And I think, Blue Kaioken Goku's Kamehameha into like the punch, that's easily LF worthy, right? That is such a free LF, right, for this guy. Again, I'm not sure how good the timing would be on a release for this guy right now, but like a Legends Fest Part 2 version release for this guy could be pretty interesting, I think. So those are some thoughts that I had regarding Parts 1 and 2 in terms of LF releases that we could get. Of course, there's many, many more we could get. They potentially could give us an updated version of like Father Son Gallic, or not Father Son Gallic, Father Son Kamehameha, right? I mean, we could just go through the list here. Like, let's just pull up LFs that we already have in the game. Like, what characters can get updated LFs here? We could get an updated version of, Grade 8 Vegeta. What if they went back to Saiyan Saga and gave us a Kaioken Goku LF that did the Kamehameha here? What if they gave us an updated version of Grade 8 Vegeta that did the Gallic as an LF? Like, again, that's a very free and easy way they could give us some Saiyan Saga representation here. What if they gave us a tag Goku and Piccolo from the Saiyan Saga that has an updated version of this guy's LF, right? Where Goku holds the enemy back and then Piccolo does the special beam cannon. What about an updated version of Movie 10, the Broly Second Coming movie, where it does the family Kamehameha versus Broly? And maybe, what about a new Beerus that does the Hakai, right? I mean, you could just go through all the LFs that we have in the game, and there are so many, characters here that you can look at and just say, yeah, we could get an updated version of this guy. So I think there's a lot of different possibilities that they could do for LFs. Now, moving on to Part 3, we're going to talk about the Ultra that I think will come out for this celebration. Now, I'm going to rattle off a bunch of characters. I'm just going to go in order of what I think is probably most likely to least likely. I mean, but dude, when you talk about Ultras, like, let me just pull up, is there, there's no, yeah, there is Ultra here. Like, so how many Ultras do we have in the game? Summonable. We have, what is this, 8 summonable Ultras? No, we have nine summonable ultras in the game right now. Basically, it took them almost 2 years to get here. I think we're probably going to get one more summonable ultra before Legends Fest. So we'll have 10 summonable ultras in the span of 2 years. So it is going to take them quite a while to fill out the roster of ultra characters in this game. But there are so many possibilities here. I mean, yes, it is, of course, a trend that we've gotten 2 Gojitas in a row and then 2 Vegetos in a row for Legends Fest and Anniversary, respectively, of course. But there are a lot of characters they could give us that are not ultras yet in the game. But going off the trend and looking at this celebration as one of the 2 biggest celebrations of the year, it typically seems that they do like to capitalize on the hype and give us like mega ultra hype worthy units. So I think if I had to guess, the most likely outcome for the Ultra release would probably just be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I mean, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has not had a single character release in the game other than the LF version. And of course, you guys know LF Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta came out during the 3rd year anniversary, so he is 2.5 years old now, right? This guy came out during year 3, 2.5 years old. I think it's pretty safe to expect us to get an Ultra version of this character soon, and as well as this guy to get a Zenkai soon, because he is definitely in line to get one. So that would be, I think, the safest guess as to who the Ultra would be. A lot of other options that we could take a look at. We have Ultra UI Goku, I think could be one. Now, I don't know if they're going to give us an Ultra UI Goku just because of how good of a team Universe Rep still is. I think if they want to give us a version of Ultra UI Goku, he's more likely going to be saved as an option to really help bolster Universe Reps down the line when they need help, more so than they do now. But I guess maybe their philosophy is they want to give the team, a bit of extra help while they're still relevant, which could definitely be the case. And of course, he would also help a lot of other teams. I mean, we could just take a look at his tags, right? God Key, Sun Family, Saiyan. Let me just see. Yeah, Sun Family, Saiyan, God Key, Universe Rep. So I mean, a lot of different teams he would be viable on. We have Ultra Beast Gohan, right? I mean, this Beast Gohan is now a year old. So maybe they want to give us an Ultra version of this character. Superhero is still relatively new, and the hype is still there. You know, Dokkan has yet to give us a standalone Beast Gohan. Maybe Legends wants to pound it in and just say, look, we have 2 summonable Beast Gohans before you guys have a single one. That'd be kind of funny if they did that. And then I think some of the less likely options we could see here, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku could be one. For me, if they're going to do an Ultra Super Saiyan 4 character, I would definitely assume it would be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here. But I mean, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku is definitely a character we're going to see at some point, right? That's definitely going to happen, right? And then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan as well. The thing with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, though, is I feel like if they're going to give us an Ultra Gohan, it would be Beast for Legends Fest. I think if they're going to give us an Ultra version of Gohan for Legends Fest, Beast seems like the more likely outcome for me. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan would not like do well or perform well financially, or people wouldn't be excited for that. That would be a very, very exciting release. And yes, this game has had a dark history when it comes to this Super Saiyan 2 Gohan here. A lot of people have trauma, PTSD from this character's Zenkai Awakening, and I know a lot of people that have actually just straight up come to hate the character because of Legends. But it has been quite a while since we've seen a powerful Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in this game, and I think it's time that eventually, this year or maybe Anniversary next year, somewhere in between there, they end up giving us an Ultra version of this character, because this is, again, one of the more iconic, one of the most iconic scenes in the history of Dragon Ball when this guy goes Super Saiyan 2. That would be such a fire intro. It's going to happen, just a matter of time. But as it stands right now for Legends Fest, I would probably put the likelihood of getting an Ultra Beast Gohan ahead of Super Saiyan 2. So those are some picks that I had. If I had to consolidate my my ideas of possible releases for Legends Fest this year, I really do like the idea of Legends doing sort of like game original, Legends original animations combinations for tag characters. I think the tag mechanic is a home run for this game. When they first introduced the tag mechanic with the Blue Goku and Vegeta from the Broly movie, like that completely opened up just a tsunami of different options and possibilities for them in the future. And this is a way that they can further supplement that with just these original animations and original characters and combinations like this. So I think them starting out this Legends Festival with a part 1 of a tag Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta and a tag Final Form Frieza and Final Form Cooler, and sort of build part 1 of the anniversary around like Saiyans versus Lineage of Evil, that would be a really cool way to do that. Especially going off the heels of the anniversary, where we had Saiyans and Lineage of Evil working together, and everybody knows how annoying this character has been to fight. That would be such a poetic way to turn that around, sort of in the same year here. And then part 2, I think I probably would go with Universal Spirit Bomb GT Goku for part 2. And I think for part 3, I would go with Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And the reason why I would make both part 2 and part 3 GT related is because if we take a look at the GT team, like you can't just release Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and be like, all right, guys, GT is set. We got this monster Ultra character for GT. GT is going to make a comeback. They're good to go. Like, no. GT has not gotten a single character since Legends Fest last year. I think giving them an LF and an Ultra, maybe a Zenkai, maybe a 1% Sparking, at that point we're talking. Now all of a sudden GT is a real force to be reckoned with. You can't just give them an Ultra and be like, okay, they're good to go, right? I mean, I would assume that the Legends Fest Ultra is going to be broken beyond belief. We've seen that the past 2 years. It's going to be very obvious that's the direction they want to take the Ultra release, but they need more than just the new Ultra, right? So I would personally do, again, as a finale to this video, my closing thoughts here, I would go with a Legends original dual LF part 1, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta versus Final Form Frieza and Final Form Cooler, a way for them to expand the tag mechanic into Legends / game original characters, new animations. Part 2, LF Universal Spirit Bomb GT Goku, and then Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Part 3 to sort of conclude the GT saga that we've seen them sort of piece together sporadically throughout this game, right? I mean, of course, there's going to be a lot more GT characters we can get in the future with like Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, different versions of Omega Shenron, different versions of Baby. We don't have an LF Baby yet, but I mean, this would be a good way to lay the foundation for a lot of good future GT releases that could help augment the team. So let me know down below what you guys think of those possibilities. Again, there's definitely a lot of different possibilities that I did not mention in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.